All right. I wanted to do a quick little video instead of doing the red versus green tweets. You just don't get that much time. You don't really get to explain your thought. I'm going to be super quick about it. I'm going to see if I can get done in like 2 minutes on this. So BIDU is coming up. I think it's tomorrow morning or it's this afternoon. One or the other, doesn't matter. The implied move for this week alone, everything's going to be this week, by the way. Implied move is going to be about $15. So plus 15 to the upside, about 200, down 15 is 170. I want to play within that implied move, especially if I'm going to be buying, and if I want to play outside that, I'm going to be selling outside that implied move. So selling over 200, selling under 170. But what I wanted to do, play within it. So what I did is I want those white lines that you're going to be seeing on your screen. All right, I'm going to be selling at those white lines, which means I'm going to be selling a 180 put. I'm going to be selling a 195 call. And now I can cap it to my risk inside. I can either cap it to 250, and then, you know, plus minus your debit, what you'd be getting for the credit on return on your play, or I can just run an iron fly off that and get the 185. And then really give myself the most exposure that I could, especially when capping it like this. So, but what I went with instead is I just went with the build off the position is 180. It's going to be the put that's going to be sold. It's a 185 that's put that's going to be bought, and then you're going to be doing the 190 call that's bought, the 195 that is sold. That leaves you about $500 on the play. Since I bought in, depending on when you hear this, listen to it, it's about 380 is going to be my max that I can lose, and that means if it stays in that red box right there, and I'm looking to make about 120 on this. So since it's within the implied move, I do expect it to move. My enemy is literally just stalling exactly where it's at, right at the 200 day, which would suck, but that's fine. That's kind of why we cap this, and I can control other aspects of this as everything decays down. It is at like a 5 delta, so this isn't really going to move that far against me. I think the max I can probably walk away with on this trade tomorrow, even if it did just stall off, is probably about half. I don't see this really getting that far away from me, or even letting it, unless it's really playing with those borders on the implied move. But that's okay. Another thing that I wanted to do is kind of show you a different aspect of things. Is you can combine these two boxes to play to a bias and play to consolidation on this. So another one you can do is kind of just hitting on this iron condor that is going to be stacked towards one side, and so instead of doing just one lots across the board, you're going to be stacking one side with a 2 lot versus 1. In this way, it gives you the consolidation if it stays within that red box, and to whichever bias that you wanted to do. You can do downside bias, you can do upside bias, but that way you're tackling 3 things here. That means if you get the 200-day stall, you get the upside to the 20 moving average, or just a burst up, but you'll be making significantly less on the upside move, but exposing yourself to the downside a little bit more. Okay, so one of the cases that I came up with was, if I wanted to do this, I could throw on a 185, 187 calls. This is going to be your 1 lot side, and then you stack to the double to the downside off of the puts, which is going to be a 180, 182. So remember, 2 lots, so you're going to be selling the inside ones, capping the out. This is going to give you that credit over the consolidation. So for the call side, you'd be selling the 185, and put side selling the 182.50. So by selling that, that's where most of your profit is going to come from, and then determining how you cap it is going to mean how much you make to the upside, etc., or how much you're risking to the downside. So in this case, this will get you $75 if it broke above that 187.50. All right, so no matter what, if you can go all the way up to 200 plus, whatever, you're gonna make $70 regardless. And putting money in your pocket off of a move that you don't understand or do, it's fine, it's great. And the consolidation is really where you make most of your money. But what I like to emphasize here is the speed at which this will happen. Okay, it's not going to go against you again. So again, tomorrow, if this stalls, this actually just tanks into oblivion. You're not going to take that full max loss or even come close to it. You'll still feel it, but it'll also give you time to react to it in case, you know, you walk into work early, kids are acting crazy that day. Whatever's got your time, you're not going to be hit with the max loss, even though you should already define it before you enter the play. Okay, so that is the 2 plays, the 2 things I'm doing. So you can play to the consolidation plus a bias, or you can just do the strict no bias. It just needs to move, which I did, which is the BIDU open iron condor, and just roll with it and just see what happens. So max on the BIDU open iron condor is going to be 120. The other one that we talked about, the consolidation, is probably going to be about 300 depending on when you get in with the 70 upside or 70 downside. All right. Hopefully that helps. And if it doesn't, just let me know and I'll explain it.